I am so fucking tired. Digital games are a scary topic for a certain subsect of game collectors. That being paranoid people, like me. On my 4-year-old PlayStation 4, I only own 5 digital games, with there always being a reason for that purchase. Whether it be a ridiculously low sale price, the title being a digital only game, or even the very rare case that a game is free. Now, on my PlayStation TV, I only have a couple of PlayStation 1 titles, with the only one that I actually ended up playing was Toy Story 2, which by the way has no damn business being as good as it is. If you haven't played it, I highly suggest playing it. You should play it on the Dreamcast, it's gonna look good as shit. But anyways, I also own Cool Borders and Metal Gear Solid VR missions, but I just never got around to playing those. And on my Switch, as well as every other console that I own, that number of digital titles goes to 0. Digital gaming, to be completely honest, is not something that I deal with too well. With PC gaming, it's mostly due to the fact that you technically don't own your games on stores like Steam. This doesn't bother a lot of people, but it bothers me for some reason, which is why nowadays I buy everything from GOG, which is DRM free. For more on that topic, I have a video about DRM and how it affects PC gaming, cards in the upper right corner. But when it comes to gaming on console, it's kind of the same problem, but instead of DRM, it's the digital storefront itself. Pretty much when that store is gone, whether it be the eShop, the PlayStation Store, or the Microsoft Store, once that's gone, everything that's on it follows suit. Of course, there was the Wii Shop, which was discontinued in January of 2019. The 3DS and Wii U eShop has been discontinued in a ton of countries just this past July. Hell, even as I record this, I remember that Sony is removing PlayStation 3, PSP, and Vita games from their website. But you'll still be able to buy the games on the actual console. Look, it may not be the end yet, but it keeps getting closer and closer. It's honestly just a matter of time before it happens to not just the PlayStation 3, but even the Xbox 360. I mean, sure, you can data hoard all of your games, but what happens when that hard drive fails? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I sound like an old man Jenkins kind of motherfucker right now, but there is genuine concern for things that can go wrong when it comes to digital-only console gaming. And it's here where Limited Run Games enters the scene. Limited Run Games is a small video game distributor based in North Carolina. Their entire focus is pretty straightforward and self-explanatory: release digital-only games physically for a very, very, very short amount of time. That makes sense. Everybody can get on board with this. You see, when Nintendo wants fans to pay $60 for 3 games that they themselves made falsely scarce for decades, that's gonna rub people the wrong way. But if a company with only 21 employees as of 2019 sells me River City Girls for $40 on Switch, then I'm down with the sickness to spend my money on this. That was a whack-ass joke. I'm recording this at 8 AM. I'm never up this early. Making a ton of copies for an extended amount of time like a big distributor isn't financially viable for this small of a company, so the whole limited run shtick is a totally legitimate and smart business strategy to appease nervous collectors like myself. People who want tangible physical copies, but more importantly, an almost future-proof way of playing these games years down the line. If Limited Run was around back when Scott Pilgrim released for the first time, I think I can safely say that it probably would have been released physically and it would have been that big of a deal when it was taken off of digital storefronts. So yes, in theory, Limited Run Games are almost like CD Projekt Red with GOG, a company who I'm not loyal to because brand loyalty isn't a thing that you should ever subscribe to. Don't fucking do that, but they are a company whose goals align with mine. They scratch my very specific itch, and I'm totally willing to pay for it. Now, a lot of you, understandably, are asking, what the fuck's the problem here? And well, I'll do my best to explain it as shortly as possible. Limited Run Games releases are too limited. Yeah, maybe that was a little too short. I sound like a bit of a fuckhead. Hear me out for a second. You see, I have never bought a limited run release. Actually, a more accurate statement would be that I've never had the chance to buy a limited run release. Now, this is due to a couple reasons. Mainly their emphasis on the modern standard of pre-ordering, the time when these pre-orders are opened, their ridiculously small unit counts, and their lack of a limit on purchases. And when I say small unit counts, I mean small. Lots of these games only have from about 2,000 to 3,000 units available worldwide. Now, some do go up to 5,000 and even 7,500 in some cases, but some can also go as low as 1,500 and even 750 in some rare cases, like the return of Obra Dinn. Think about that, 750 copies for everybody on the fucking planet. Yikes. Mix low numbers with the emphasis on pre-orders, and that sounds like a mess as is. Again, I've never been able to get my own copy of any of the games that I've wanted, so take this with a grain of salt, but I've heard through the grapevine that these releases can sell out in minutes and even seconds. And to add insult to injury, these pre-orders open at 10 in the morning, and I do believe that there's almost always a second batch in the afternoon. And now I know what lots of you are saying. Well, Justice, now you're just complaining for complaining's sake. You got 2 fucking chances to get a copy. What's the problem here? And the reason why I'm still whining in this video and why it's so damn hard to get a copy of any of these games is that there's no limits for customers. Meaning that my lifelong enemies, the scalpers, will buy multiple copies and flip them for double and even triple the original price. Now, to be completely fair, the scalpers and resellers are the ones who get to determine what it's worth now, because at that point, you're no longer able to get it from Limited Run themselves. Like I said originally, I love what this business strategy could theoretically do for both digital and physical gaming, but in practice all it does is entice people to blindly spend a ton of cash early as hell in the morning just to beat that scalper who's definitely going to buy like 8 of these, and then flip them for some poor bastard who woke up an hour late. Plus, all orders are final and can't be cancelled, as if this shit didn't hurt me enough. In order to articulate how sucky this buying experience is, let's give a personal example. Right now, as you watch this very video, I am on the fence about purchasing this copy of Doom 64 for either the PS4 or Switch. It's only $25 for the standard release, which is a score, plus both versions are the same price, which almost never happens. The only problem, the only teensy-weensy bit of problem, is that I've never fucking played Doom 64. I've always wanted to get into the franchise. I bought both Doom 3 BFG Edition and 2016 last year on sale, but I haven't finished either of them because I got busy this year with new releases. Yet, I still feel like if I don't buy it now, I will never get to play Doom 64 Remastered the way I want to. But wait, there's more. If I do buy it and hate it, all sales are final. So that's like $30 down the drain. And this is just kind of the problem. You know, Limited Run doesn't have a tagline, but with this experience I just had, I'm gonna make one up. Either buy this the second we show it to you, or you will never see this for a reasonable price in your life again. That's cool, right? That Doom 64 situation is how I feel with everything on LRG that intrigues me, and that's if I see it before it's sold out. Feels bad, man. Limited Run Games could have been a beacon for what a small distributor could and should be. The fact that this small of a company has been reliable with tons of big name re-releases such as Doom and Star Wars is impressive in and of itself. It's an achievement that they should be proud of. However, in my eyes, whatever further growth they could have in terms of customer base is soiled by their business practices. Business practices that tons of other small distributors don't take part in, like I Am 8-Bit or Fangamer. Look, if you love LRG right now and you're cool with everything they're doing, then fine. More power to you. I mean that. I'm glad that you're enjoying what they're doing. It's just that, to me, there's room for improvement. At this very moment, it just feels like this stuff, these super limited releases, are made for the big YouTube collectors. You know, the John Hancocks, the Beat 'em Ups, the MJRs. Not that I hate or even dislike those guys, I'm subscribed to all of them, I love their content. It's just that Limited Run is definitely made for a certain kind of collector. One that's got lots of spare cash, time, and patience. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, those are 3 things that I just don't have. Here's the thing, maybe I'm being too picky. Maybe I'm being too complainy. Maybe I'm just being too much of a little whiny bitch. But I honestly want to support them. Like everything that I've seen that Limited Run has done, I want that. I want to get that. It just feels like it's not made for me or most other game collectors that I personally know who would love this shit. It's just that most of us would now have to resort to paying ridiculous prices on eBay or even Amazon. But anyways, what are your thoughts on Limited Run Games? Do you love their products? Are you not a fan? Are you indifferent? Tell me all about it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and all that jazz. I'll catch you guys next time. Later, kids. Have a good night. Or I guess a good morning. I'm so not used to being up this fucking early. I'm usually recording at like 2 a.m. Fuck my life.